Hey everyone, this is Ryder from Skip. I hope you're doing well. It's Thursday, August 6th, and I have a quick update on the stimulus bill and the EIDL bill and where those two deals are at and the negotiations and what's happening with the negotiations. Okay, there's been some progress today. I'm going to get you up to speed on what Pelosi's been saying, what Mitch McConnell has been saying, and what Mark Meadows, White House Chief of Staff, have been saying, and how close we actually are to a deal. Can we get a deal done tomorrow or not? If not, how long do we have to wait? I'm going to help answer those questions. Thanks, as always, for your support and subscribing. And in case you needed another reason to subscribe, two things. One, tomorrow I'm going to do a live video with me, so not a screen share. I haven't done one of those for a while. Subscribe and you'll get an alert, and I'm going to talk tomorrow candidly about the bill, especially if something is agreed upon, but it's going to be me on camera. And starting next week, I'm going to occasionally do live videos, especially when there's important breaking news, and especially if a stimulus bill is passed. I'm going to talk about things in real time and answer your questions. So please subscribe. Let's dive in. Here is what Nancy Pelosi has said today. Again, she has been stalwart in not budging at all. She's rejected any short-term extensions, any compromises, and she has stuck to her guns for the past almost 3 months on what needs to be passed. So I have to give her credit for that. Of course, that's leading to this protracted negotiations and just a lot of stress for all of us waiting for news on unemployment, on the PPP, on the EIDL, and everything else. Here's what she said. When she was asked today whether she'd be open to an interim extension for the unemployment enhancement, she said, "We're not having a short-term extension." She said the same thing last week, and she's been consistent with her message. $3 trillion is what she wants, an extra $600 a week through January, and continued eviction moratorium beyond the end of the year. You know, even yesterday, Republicans had talked about extending the eviction moratorium through the end of the year, and both Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer rejected that because they said, so what? If we buy ourselves a few months, then what happens? Basically, what the Democrats want to prevent is any short-term deal that's only going to buy a little bit of time and not actually solve the problem, which is the uncertainty and the likelihood that millions will continue to be unemployed through next year. That's the reality. And what Pelosi and Schumer continually say is that Republicans are underestimating the scope of the problem. Republicans are not taking large enough action to help people stay in their homes, to help people stay on unemployment, and to help businesses survive. On the flip side, Mitch McConnell, again, he said this yesterday and today, he is upset that Pelosi and the Democrats have barely moved an inch, whereas Republicans, led by McConnell, have been willing to increase unemployment benefits up to $400 or $500. Pelosi and the Democrats haven't moved from the $600 mark, and they say the same things. Mitch McConnell says people should not get paid more to stay at home. Tomorrow is the day we're all waiting for. Mark Meadows from the White House wants an agreement tomorrow. So does the president. Let's say an agreement gets made tomorrow, then it'll be finalized over the weekend, voted on Monday or Tuesday, and then hopefully signed shortly thereafter by the president. Some lawmakers think that's too optimistic, but again, until a deal gets done, we really don't know, as both sides are continuing to negotiate. Frankly, what we're talking about here is this will be the largest bill that any of these lawmakers ever pass, right? And it's a huge deal. The first CARES Act back in March seemed inevitable and necessary as a response to the pandemic that no one expected. Now the question is, what do we need to do 5 months later to keep people in their homes, to keep the health of the nation strong, and to keep the economy of the nation strong? That's the big question now. Republicans say, let's wait and see. Democrats say, no, we need to swiftly pump money into this economy, get it to people directly, get it to businesses directly. You know, some other outlets from MarketWatch say, don't hold your breath for another coronavirus aid deal from Congress soon. Republican and Democratic congressional leaders show few signs of movement today, Thursday, and the departure of the Senate for the weekend indicated a ratcheting down of expectations on Capitol Hill. However, senators can come back with 24 hours notice, and conversations are still going to be had through today and tomorrow by their leaders. According to some Republicans, there's a 50-50 chance of a deal getting done. Again, everyone is eyeing tomorrow. Forbes is also saying we hope that something gets passed tomorrow. Speaker Pelosi, again, who's not budging, said this to Politico: "I feel optimistic that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but how long that tunnel is remains to be seen." She is signaling that she will not compromise, that even though people need money yesterday, she is willing to stick with it and ensure that a full package gets put together and not a piecemeal package. For example, Marco Rubio today put together a separate PPP bill to provide PPP funding. Similarly, of course, we're tracking this every 10-15 minutes. Any news on S.4227 EIDL funding, including $10,000 grants for every eligible business and sole proprietor. But the Democrats have said they don't want to pass these standalone bills. That's why yesterday I pointed out this letter that John Cornyn and 10 other senators put together, which was great news, pushing for EIDL funding in this relief bill. Okay, so they have the standalone option. That's an option. But what they really want is to get this funding in the negotiation now. And that's the best move. But strategically, it's good to have both options, a standalone and push for this to be included in the $3 trillion bill, given that Democrats want to see a full package now and they're not going to go piecemeal. Again, we're following all the news outlets, including anything that Pelosi, McConnell, or Mark Meadows says, and anything Trump says as well, in terms of what's being negotiated in the present, and we will keep you posted. We're also watching EIDL progress, both for the advances and the loans, on our dashboard. And of course, this tracking is free at helloskip.com/loan-tracking. And always a huge shout out to the thousands of you who've asked us to write to your senator. I love the fact that so many of the people watching our videos are taking action rather than just watching what other YouTubers say. I'm proud that all of you are taking action, leaving comments, and encouraging us to work on your behalf to push for this, because it does make a difference pushing for this through the senators, on both sides of the aisle, from Democrats and Republicans, to get a package pushed through, either the larger $3 trillion relief package or the separate $80 billion EIDL standalone package. It's so important. As always, thanks again. And for all of you who've signed up for the EIDL alerts, you're going to be kept informed of any changes and action you need to take to get the full $10,000. And please, I would love to hear in the comments today if you've taken any action. Give yourself a shout out in the comments if you asked us to write to your senator, or you wrote to your senator, or if you signed up for any loan tracking or EIDL alerts. Would love to hear and see that in the comments so we understand just how important this is to you and what else you'd like us to do for you. As always, thanks for tuning in and subscribing. Like I said, I'm going to do an on-camera video tomorrow and start to do live videos next week. So subscribe to get notified, and please stay well and stay healthy. Take care.